Alright guys, so this lesson we basically gonna be covering candlesticks. So I'm gonna explain about candlesticks. I'm gonna explain how to read candlesticks and when to basically read candlesticks, right? So for this example, I'm basically gonna be using USD JPY. It's a currency pair, so I see it fit for this basic example and lesson. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So USD JPY, what am I gonna be doing? I'm gonna be explaining about candlesticks, right? So before I get started, I want to basically mark up my points of value. So this was a point of value, so this is another point of value, right? So now that I have that covered, what I'll just go ahead and do is smart it up, right? So what we're going to be mainly focusing on, guys, is candlesticks, right? So the important part about candlesticks is that you have to know, guys, that it's not really important to actually study the candlesticks which are forming in the middle of the range, right? So we only read candlesticks on our area of value, right? So I'm talking about these areas. So these are our areas of value, because it's only logical to read candlesticks in these kind of areas, right? Because that's basically where we trade, right? So I'm gonna teach you to read candlesticks and what type of candlesticks you should look for when we get to these areas, right? So I'll just remove this. So it was an example to show you guys which areas are we basically looking for. What I'm gonna go ahead and do is hide my price action. Right. So let this candlestick represent bearish, and let this candlestick represent bull, right? So when you actually have a candlestick like this within your low value area, it can either be your weekly lows, your monthly lows, your weekly lows, your daily lows, and so forth and so on. So when you see candlesticks like these, just know that buyers are about to step in the markets and basically change direction, right? So this candlestick, it's a reversal candlestick on its own, so it's a double confirmation when you're gonna get a candlestick like this, and then you get a big candlestick like this after this has finished printing and has already closed, and then you get a big candlestick like this, which is clearly showing that the buyers are now gaining momentum within the markets, and price action is about to shift to the opposite direction. Say for instance, it was coming from a sell, and then it test our point of value with such candlesticks. That's when we now read the markets and anticipate that, okay, so we can see that we've been stumbling down, but now since we have gotten to this area of value, which is our low, now the market is printing or giving us a low test candle. So this candle, we call it a low test candle, and this is a momentum candlestick, right? So we can say this is a bull low test candle, and then this, it's a momentum bull candle, right? So the opposite direction, not the opposite direction, the same as this one right here, right? So the same as this one right here. It doesn't matter what's the color of it. So as long as the candlestick, it shows you something like this, as long as the tail is spiking down, and then we have a big body, and then within this big body we might either have a no wick, or maybe just a small little bit of wick. but still it indicates that the buyers are showing control now. Buyers are showing control and they are starting to show momentum. So that's a very great signal, and that's a very good time to actually read the candlesticks and then make an informed decision with whatever execution type that you are about to execute. So in this instance, we are basically looking for buys. We are currently on our lowest point and we are looking for lotus candlesticks, or this is another candlestick which we call a bullish engulfing, right? So normally a bullish engulfing, this can be a red candle, right? So this can be a red candle. So this can be a red candle, and then it closes like this, right? When it closes like this, and then another candlestick appears, and then it engulfs this. So basically now what this means is that looking at our candlestick mathematics, right? So when you're looking at a bull candlestick and a bear candlestick, one thing that you have to keep in mind is that the bull candlestick opens. A bull candlesticks opens right here, right? This is the open, and then this is the close, right? This is the close. So basically in this case, the reason why you see there's wicks, it's because the candle closed, it opened right here and it closed right here, right? So this is the open and this is the close, and these open and close. So I'm just going to mark it up so that you guys can see. Open, so let's just say it's a bull open and then it's a bull close. Very simple stuff, guys. So when you see this wick, this indicates that when this candlestick opened right here, it basically pushed above all the way until this point, and then the sellers came in, pushed prices down all the way to here, and the bulls came back into the game, pushed prices up, came to where it opened, pushed even more up, and then this is where it closed, right? So when this is where it closed, so normally this is how this market should be looking. So just gonna take that, put it right here, and take that, put it right there. I'll remove this, and yeah, guys, so this is how it's basically supposed to look. So when it closes here, this is where it opens again, and then when it opened here, bears came in, pushed prices down just a bit, and then bulls came in back into the game, and then it closed right above here. So on the flip side with the bears, so with our bears we have a open, so we have a close. This is the bear close, and this is the bear open. There's the bear open. So don't worry, guys, just follow through along. We're gonna go back on the charts and actually look at this. So I'm just doing like a rough sketch so that I can basically make you guys to understand. So on our high point, the flip side that we just talked about, guys, so basically what we always looking at is whenever the market is at the highs, we look for candlestick with a huge wick on top and then with a body like this. So the one which is more high impact is a candle like this. Whenever you get a candle like this on a high value area, or your daily highs or your weekly highs or monthly highs, it's much more powerful, and it's an indication of a reversal, right? So it's signifying that a reversal will be taking place very soon, Alright, so we are about to step into the opposite direction. This came from a low point, came back, printed these, formed this candlestick, and then from here onwards, now we on the buy side of things, and then boom, shows something of this sort. Alright, shows something of this sort. So let me just bring it down a bit. Shows something of this sort. Alright, so now what we're anticipating a move to the downside. Right, so this is how to read candlesticks, guys. Remember, we're looking for on our high value points, we're looking for candlestick like this. So this candlestick, we basically call it a high test, right? This is a high test candlestick, and this is a low test candlestick. So this is a bullish engulfing candlestick, and this right here is a bearish candlestick. Alright, so we're gonna move him just a bit. So just bear with me, guys. This is a rough sketch. This is just a rough sketch to get the pawn across, right? So, and then on the flip side, you can just say this. So the color doesn't really matter, guys, but with these engulfing candles, an engulfing candlestick has to look exactly like this. So I'll just remove that just to illustrate. So an engulfing, bearish engulfing candlestick has to look like this. So we must have a candlestick of a bull on the high, right? We must have a candlestick on the high which has like approximately a big body, right? Can be a big body, maybe a medium body. In most cases, if it will have like a small body, it will form something like this, which is a high test, right? But on the flip side, this is a bearish engulfing pattern. So we have a bull candlestick, and then the next candlestick, it overweighs the body of this thing, right? So it has to be a green candlestick on the high, right? So the tick box is that we must have a high, we must have this candlestick, which is a bull candlestick, and then the following candlestick must be a bear candlestick, which has a larger body, which is exceeding the bull candle, right? So in this case, we can see that this body compared to this body has a bigger body compared to this candlestick. So when it's like this, we call it an engulfing pattern, right? So this is a bearish engulfing, and bearish engulfing patterns mostly occur on our high value points, right? It can be a weekly point, it can be a weekly high point, it can be a daily high point, it can be a monthly high point, right? So that's the model of the candlesticks. So now what we're going to do, we're going to go into the live markets and check out these candlesticks and backtest these on a 101 level, right? So that we can understand more of this. So always remember, guys, that this is a low test and this is a high test, right? We just see with the wicks, So now what we're about to do is basically we're gonna go to a live chart, right? So in us going to a live chart, we're gonna basically look at these candlesticks. So we're gonna mark out this point and we're gonna mark out this point, right? So now what we're gonna do is basically go through these highs, right? So I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna mark out this point, and I'm gonna mark out this point, and I'm gonna mark out these points, and I'm gonna mark out this where it turned, right? So I want you to see, guys, the kind of candlesticks which actually occur in these levels, right? In these high and low levels. So remember what we said on our low levels, on our monthly lows, or we're gonna start from here. Look at this next, and then followed by this lastly, this candle, right? So I'm gonna remove that, I'm gonna remove this, I'm gonna remove this, I'm gonna remove this again. So I'll start from here. So notice guys what I just mentioned. You see this candlestick? It's the same candlestick which we looked at on that rough sketch, right? So it's the same candlestick that we looked at that rough sketch. So now remember again that I said the color doesn't really matter, right? It can be green, it can be blue, it can be green, it can be red. So the color doesn't really matter. The only thing that matters is the formation of the candlestick, right? So in this case we had a low test candlestick, right? We had a low test, and what did it do after that? It shot all the way up, right? Shot all the way up. So we're basically looking for these kind of candlestick, guys. These are the kind of candlestick that we look for. This exact candlestick, this exact candlestick. These are the type of candles we look for on our low levels. So now on the flip side, we're gonna look at the buy, right? We're gonna look at the buy. So in here it's not really much clear, right? It's really not much clear, but if I can go on a weekly time frame, I will definitely see a way different candle, right? So we might see sort of a high test candle with these. If I combine these two, we might see quite of like a high test. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to a weekly chart and I'm gonna mark out my area. So if I can see, I can clearly see this. So this is another pattern, guys. This is another pattern that is very high in probabilistic edge. So we're looking at this, and we're looking at this, and we're looking at this. All right, so these three candlesticks are basically what? A reversal, right? It's a reversal. So if I can go to a daily chart and see more clear and see it more clearly, so we can see the exact same thing that we were talking about here. So in this case, it's much more clearer on the daily than in the monthly and the weekly. So remember what I said, guys. This is now a bearish engulfing pattern, right? So look at this candlestick. I'm gonna just zoom it out, so make it big. So what did I just say? We must have a bull candlestick, right? First thing, we must have a high, right? So this was our high. Now in this high, we have this candlestick with this body, and then followed by a bearish candlestick, right? So this bearish candlestick, it has 100% and more body than this. So it engulfed this green candlestick, right? This red candlestick engulfed this bull candlestick. So this again is a reversal, guys. This is a reversal on its own. So I'm loving the fact that this price action is very clear, and it's showing precisely exactly what we are talking about, right? So these are the candlesticks which we look for within the markets on our high value areas, right? So that is covered. Excuse me. So now what I'm gonna do is we are gonna go back to our monthly time frame, right? We're gonna go back to a monthly time frame. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at the candlesticks which are forming here, right? So, and then again, guys, I want you all to look at this candlestick. This is a low test. So in this low test candlestick, it has a body, a small body, and a big wick, a big tail, right? So this is a reversal on its own, right? So this is a reversal. And just bear in mind, look at after this candlestick printed, this came all the way down, came all the way up, and boom, we're gone. So if you can go to a weekly time frame and basically check it out in more detail. So in a more detailed manner, so we're basically looking for a candlestick with a wick, right? With a wick and a small body. So again, I can see that we have this candlestick right here, this candlestick right here, this candlestick. So we have a big tail and we have a small body on top. So that again is a reversal point, and I'm loving the fact that this it actually printed something of this nature. So we will get into patterns, guys. We'll get into patterns in very soon, so that you can basically understand. So in this price action type, so it gave us these type of lows, right? Played around, and then it pushed up, and then it started correcting, and then boom, shot up, right? So we're gonna go to a daily time frame, and we're still looking for our low test, guys. That's the most important thing. On our low points, we're looking for low tests, right? So we're looking for low test candles. We are looking for low test candles. Boom, low test. Boom, low test. This is all we look for, guys. This is all we look for. Once we on those low value areas, once we see something like this, we basically capitalize, guys. We basically capitalize. This is a reversal. So you can clearly see, guys, you can clearly see what I was trying to get across. It's basically now being shown by the charts, right? I'm not making this up, guys. This is something that has been around for literally forever. So that's how the market is and will always be, right? So with this, we can clearly see that we had our low tested right there. So now what we're going to look at again is this high point. So loving what I'm seeing again. So here we have a what? We have a body, and then we have a wick. So this, we could say it is a high test candle, although this is a more cleaner one, right? This one right here. So this one is a more cleaner high test candlestick, but it didn't quite really form at this point, right? But still, this has a body and it has a wick, right? It has a wick, so it has a long wick on top and a big body. So what I'm loving again, it's this candlestick that formed next, right? So, and then again, this is a bearish engulfing pattern, right? So the reason why it's a bearish engulfing pattern, it's because when this candlestick formed on our high value area, this was the next candlestick which printed, so it engulfed all this candlestick, so it was bigger in body size than this candlestick, and then it closed way down. So this is a very good indication. When you see something like this, it indicates the market is gonna dip very down. All right, guys, so for candlesticks, that's what we are looking at. And I want you all to backtest this, guys. Don't only just watch this video, go and apply this, go and check it out on yourself. Just pick out any pair or any instrument that you wish to trade, and then you basically mark out your highs, and after marking out your highs, you will basically see what we are talking about, right? So backtest this on your own. This lesson, it's basically how to read candlesticks. So in a moral, that's how we basically read our candlesticks. And remember, guys, it doesn't really matter what type of candlestick it forms on these areas, right? What's important is we basically start reading candlesticks in these areas, right? These high value areas. So on our high value areas, as a recap, we are looking for high test candlesticks, and we're looking for bearish engulfing candlesticks. And then on the flip side, on the low value areas, we are looking for low test candlesticks, and we are looking for bullish engulfing patterns. So that's it for this lesson. If you need any clarity or whatsoever, you can surely ask for clarity and assistance, and I will go into more in depth on the candlestick side of the lesson. So thank you for watching, guys. Thank you for taking the time to go through this. And remember, if you still don't understand, you don't have to go anywhere, but you just have to restart the video and watch it again until you extract the nuggets that was dropped in this video. Thank you guys. Cheers.